Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for joining. And today we are doing Module 4 and Lesson 35. We are very close to finishing up the module, and then we'll get started with new module. We have up to Lesson 41, which is about a week, and then we'll get started with the new module. So before that, let's take a moment to say thank you to everything and everyone that we have in our life and appreciate it. And let's get started. So today's objective is decompose the number 9 using 5 group drawings and record each decomposition with a subtraction equation, which simply means that we are going to be taking 9 apart, right? We are going to break the number 9 into two groups or two numbers, but one of the group has to be a 5 group way, and then we are going to use that in our subtraction number sentence. So today mostly it's going to be about taking away. So the materials you'll be needing are loose leaf papers, something to write with, you'll need your math book, you'll need your number bond chart, and something of the materials, about 10 pieces of it. So at this time, what you can do is pause the video and gather up your materials, and we'll get started. So I'm going to read the application problem twice. You will pause the video and you will do your own application problem from the application problem that I just read, and then I will do mine, and we'll come together to see if our answers matches. If not, then we are going to try to figure out what did we do different, or how come we got the answer different. So the application problem goes, Chase had 9 pennies. He wanted to put some pennies into each of his two pockets. Use your pennies to show one way he could have separated them. Make a number bond about your idea. How many different ways can you separate the pennies? So I'm going to read it again. Chase had 9 pennies. He wanted to put some pennies into each of his two pockets. Use your pennies to show one way he could have separated them. Make a number bond about your idea. How many different ways can you separate the pennies? So I want you guys to pause the videos and use your materials to solve this application problem. And when you are done, we'll come back together to see how it is different or how it is same that Shaima did. So I'm going to draw my 9 pennies in a 5 group way, right? I have 5 at the top, 4 at the bottom. And I know that 5 and 4 also makes 9. So I have 9 as a whole because that's the story that told us 9 pennies. And then I have 5 in a group, right? So I'll have 5 as one of my part. And then 4 in the bottom because I have 4 pennies at the bottom. So I know that 5 and 4 makes 9. So in your case, if you did not put 5 and 4, that's okay. You could put 7 and 2. You can have 6 and 3, or 3 and 6. You can have 8 and 1, because all those numbers are part of 9. So if yours doesn't match like mine, that's okay. I just chose to do it 5 group way. You don't necessarily have to do 5 group way. Like I said, there are many ways you can make 9. One way is 5 and 4, and that's what I did. So let's get started with our lesson. So at this time, I want you to put all of your materials to the side, and as always, I'm going to read the lesson twice, and then let's do it together. Carmelo had 9 bouncy balls. Let me draw the balls in a 5 group way on my board. So I'm going to draw the balls in 5 group ways. Okay, so I drew the ball in 5 group ways. Okay? And 3 of his balls were green. So I didn't have green, I just chose blue. Now I will draw a box around the group of the balls that shows that um, they are not the black color as the other ones are. So I drew the box of the balls that around the balls that are not the same color as the rest of it. So let's find out how many. I want you to show me with your finger how many balls are not, in this case, not green. How many balls that are not green? That's correct. We have 6 balls that are not green. And how many balls were green? That's right. We have 3 balls on the green. So in this case, blue. Let's draw a number sentence matching that. We have 9 in total, and then 3 that are different, right? That gives us 6 balls that are the same color. In this case, we have 9 total. We took 3 away because we put 3 of them in a box, right? Because they were different color, and that gave us 6 balls in all together. So let's do one more exactly like this. Crystal had 9 apples. Draw her apples. So as you can see, I drew her apples. And I want you to draw the apples on your paper as well. If you do not know how to draw apples, that's okay. Just like the last one, you can just draw circles and make them 2 different colors. So let's read it together. Crystal had 9 apples. So I drew in the 9 apples, right? And 7 of her apples were green. So I have 5 at the top, 2 at the bottom, 7 of the apples green. Now I have to cross off the apples that are not green. So I crossed off 2 apples, right? Because she had 9 and 2 of them were not green. So I crossed off the ones that are not green. So now write a number sentence to tell me how many apples were not green. So how would I write a number sentence for that? So let's look at our story from the top. We have 9 apples altogether. So I'm going to write 9. So this 9 represents the 9 apples altogether we have. And we took away 2 apples that are not green. So when we do take away, we do minus sign. And how many did we take away or crossed off? We crossed off 2. And when we find the answer, we use an equal sign. So the answer that we left with is 7. So there are 7 apples that are green. So remember, I know some of you guys are still having hard time with subtraction. So one of the biggest clues that I have said in my previous lessons were in subtraction, you start off with a big number like 9, and the answer, by the time you go to answer, the answer is always smaller than what you started with, which is 7. And you know the 7 is smaller than 9, right? So if you have other way around, for example, if you say 9 minus 2 and your answer is 11, or your answer is bigger than 9, that means that it's incorrect. In subtraction, the numbers for the answer always go small. So it's 9 minus 2 equals 7. So now let's get started with the problem set. Parents, please make sure you're submitting the right page. And today we are doing problem set 35. So please make sure you are only doing problem set 35. The book also comes with the homework sheets. Please do not do the homework sheets because these are the 2 pages I want you guys to focus on. As you can see, there are barely any pictures in this 2 problem set. So parents, I need you guys to read the direction to your kids and ask them questions. instead of telling them the answer or finding out if it's a subtraction addition problem. I want you guys to ask questions like, how many are there? You know, is there a takeaway or is there all together? Use clue words to help your children to figure out if it's subtraction problem or addition problems, or what the question is asking in general. So first thing first, I'm going to put my name, and today's date is the 18th of May and 2020. We are more than halfway done in May. Cross off the part that goes away. Fill in the number bond and the number sentence. Okay, let's read the problem. Jeremy had 9 baseball. He took 5 baseball outside to play. They got lost. How many balls are left? So we know that we have to cross some away, cross some of the balls away because that was the instruction. So let's do that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So all together, Jeremy had 9 baseballs. So I'm going to put 9 in my number bond because that's all together. That's my whole. And he lost 5 of the balls. So I'm going to put 5 as one of the part. But since he lost it, I'm going to put an X on my 5 to show that they are gone. How many balls does he still have left? He has 4. So I'm going to put 4 as one of the part. So now I have to match the number bond with the number sentence. So I know I have 9 that I started with, and 5 are missing or they were lost. So 9 minus 5, how many left? 4. And that's the way we get our answer. In this case, parents, if you need help with asking the right questions, you can ask your children that how many baseball did Jeremy start with? The answer would be 9. And how many did he take it outside? He took only 5 and lost it. So when it's lost, they're not coming back. In this case, when they're not coming back, it automatically means that it's subtraction. And how many balls are you left with, which is the answer in this case, is how many does he still have? So it'll be 4. So please, as you do the next couple of problems, make sure to ask these questions. It will encourage them to come up with the answer on their own instead of depending on parents and guardians to solve. Because um, once we are in school, we don't, like, as teachers, we don't necessarily give them the answer. We rather ask them questions, and it will allow them to think about the answer. Same thing goes for this one. This is the problem set only for the students who does not have the math book. So if you have the math book, you do not have to do this, right? You're only doing the first pages, and that's it. So I'm going to put my name, and same thing, I have today's date, which is May 5-18-2020. Again, the same set of rules go. Please allow them to solve the problems on their own and read the directions to them and ask them questions so they can come up with their own answer. Let's read the direction. It says cross off the part that goes away. Fill in the number bond and the number sentence. Mary had 9 library books. She returned 1 book to the library. How many books does Mary have left? Mary had 9 books. She returned 1 book to the library. How many books how many books are left? So I know that I have a total of 9 books. I'm going to cross off 1 to show that she returned it, right? That's what it says. So now I know the whole is 9. And since she gave 1 away, so I know 1 is already one of the part, and I'm going to cross it off to show that it's 1 that she returned. And now we have 5 and 3, and we know that 5 and 3 makes 8. Same thing in our number sentence. We have 9 minus 1 that she returned, and then we're left with 8. I want you to do the rest by yourself, and as always, and I want you to do the bottom one by yourself as well, because this one doesn't have any stories. It's just a little extra practice for you guys. um, Before we go for shout out again, please make sure you're submitting the right paper to your teacher. You're just doing the kids with the math book, you're submitting the problem set, and kids who does not have the math book, you're doing these 4 to 5 problems. Okay, now let's go to shout out. And today I would love to give shout outs to our friends and families and everyone who is giving you guys extra help in math, who's taking care of you when your parents are away at work, or just in general, who plays with you when, because right now we are indoor, we're doing remote learning, so you don't get to see your school friends per se, but you get to see your cousins and your aunties and your grandmas and grandpas. So just in general, whoever is around you, helping you guys to read a book or with your math homework or your reading, or even babysitting you when your parents are away, or they just give you company once in a while. They come and visit you. So I would love to give shout outs to them today. Until tomorrow, I'll see you guys, and please make sure you wash your hands, and don't forget to do iReady for 30 minutes of ELA and 30 minutes of math. See you guys.